Hello everyone and welcome back to our Let's Play of Dwarf Fortress Tradeancient. I am Nerdstalgic. Okay, so, first an apology. A little while back I went ahead and, well actually I didn't do it. My wife bought me a microphone. A very nice recording microphone. And without really thinking about it or really researching it, I hooked it up and just kind of started making videos with it. And unfortunately, I didn't really QC the product very well. And I was notified by somebody who watched one of my other video series that my voice was a little bit quiet in comparison to the game. So after going back and watching a lot of my other videos, I noticed the same problem was happening. And I felt very embarrassed about it, and I do apologize. I do take the quality of these videos somewhat seriously. You know, after all, I am investing money into this. So what I did is I went, and to make sure that the microphone always stays an equal distance in front of me, like directly in front of my mouth, I actually invested in a boom arm for my desk and a shock mount for my microphone. So hopefully you guys will notice a little bit higher quality out of my vocals from now on. And if ever there's a time where it just doesn't seem right, please let me know in the comments on the video or in a private message. Both of those are absolutely fine. Because like I said, I do take the quality of these as seriously as I can without absolutely driving myself bonkers. So anyway, so let's get started. I believe we just finished up dealing with this caravan. I looked before I started the game back, just kind of putted around, and when I looked at the trade depot, I saw a lot of things that we had purchased. So I went ahead and marked it all to be brought back. I do remember in our last video, I think, we had two interesting things happen. Number one, we finally took care of all of those goblins that we had captured in the traps. We basically executed them by chaining them up. Unfortunately, my lack of foresight caused some of our less hardy dwarves also to be killed. So that was a bit unfortunate. And also, we found tetrahedrite. Finally, we found a metal that we could do something with. So that's pretty amazing. Let me just make sure here. I've got the wiki open on my other monitor. And if you're playing Dwarf Fortress and you have the ability to, I would definitely recommend having the wiki close at hand. It doesn't matter if you're a new player or a veteran player or an expert player. This game is so deep in features and in some ways very arcane in application that it couldn't hurt to have it available. So tetrahedrite will produce copper or silver. Smelting tetrahedrite will produce 4 copper bars and 0 to 4 silver bars. So there's basically a 20% chance of each silver bar being produced. So, which is cool because, let's see, I think we can we take copper? Is that one of the ones? Yes, we need copper for bronze. And remember, we do have tin as well. The tin comes from the cassiterite, which we haven't actually been mining out. But now that we've found some copper, what we're probably going to do is we're going to go after that cassiterite as well as the tetrahedrite. And we're actually going to make, we're going to blend that tin and that copper to make bronze. It's a it's a 1-for-1 thing. 1 part tin, 1 part copper. And what that's going to do for us is bronze is a better metal for armor and weapons than copper is. Now, our weapons, we're kind of set on because we do have all of that silver that we can use for weapons. And it's not like we're running out of it. However, we could make some bronze weapons if we so chose. But for in the interim, in the near future, we're only going to be able or be using the bronze for armor. So I'm also seeing it looks like here our gate is up. So we need to make sure that to put down that gate, because if we don't, the traders might get a little pissed off at us. So let's go ahead and set a task here to pull the lever, and hopefully nobody gets smashed. Now, before I restart, let's look around and see what else we're going to want to do. Let's take a quick, we should not, since we just did some trading, our stocks of food and drink should be very, very well taken care of. In fact, if you look right here, you can see we have almost 4,000 in our food stores. And then it gives you a breakdown. I think the other here, is prepared meals. If we go into the stock screen, we can see prepared meals 1,545. So something that we could do is you can actually sell prepared meals as well to trade caravans as well for money. So it's something we could think about doing. I mean, I don't think we are really hurting in terms of like things to trade, because when we looked at our trading for just this past caravan, we had enough dwarf bucks to basically buy out the caravan. So we're good on drink. So we might go ahead and put the brakes on the drink making and the food making for now. And what that will do is that will free up that dwarf to do some other things, but it will also put a little bit of a damper on that crafts dwarf's workshop from making rock pots. So they will get to focus more on making bolts when they're necessary. Let's look around here. So we've got some farm plots going. Farming seems to be going just fine. Okay, the barracks. It might be about time to go ahead and build our third militia group, which will definitely be another melee group. I'm wanting to set some more hotkeys here. So let's go ahead and, before we unpause, we'll set this. We're going to make this, since this is it's like our second living quarter layer. We're going to go ahead and make this F5, since we're not actually mining here. And we're going to rename it, we'll just say Live 2. And then we're going to go down to the next layer, and we're going to hit F6 and then Z. And then we're going to rename that Live 3. And basically the reason for that is so that I can just, it's very, very, very easy for me to just hit, okay, I want to look at my living quarters to see how many beds I have, F4, F5, F6, rather than switching from F4 to holding down Shift and hitting the arrow. So that's why we're doing that. No. And then if we have to, we could go down and make another living quarter here, if absolutely necessary. So, and then we have our mining layer, which I need to get out of this screen. Uh-oh, I think I just actually set my zoom to this layer. That stinks. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, very good. So this is our mining layer. As you can see, we have lots of tetrahedrite here that we're definitely going to be getting out. We're also finding some gems. Since we have found tetrahedrite here on this layer, we will probably, instead of just going straight down from this layer, we're probably going to extend out a good ways. And we're just going to strip mine this layer, since it has what we want. Okay, let me bring up DF hack and hopefully not forget to get rid of it when I'm done with it. And we're going to get the gems while we're at it, because it just makes sense. Just makes sense. Oh, looks like a fish. Like an ichthys. Okay. And a little bit down here. And what we'll do is we will let them go ahead and mine that out. And then we'll go and look at extending out our exploratory caverns here. We still haven't unpaused yet, have we? What else do we need to do? We're going to have a lot of idlers. We have a ton of trash. We're like the hidden trash village. Holy moly. I mean, we've still got this area over here, but hopefully it starts, you know, degrading soon. We've moved our animals over there. And yeah, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything's going pretty swimmingly at this point. What do we want to do? Well, I think we do have a smoothing job going. Yeah, they're smoothing out that hallway there. So that's going to keep going. Did we mark all these rooms for justice? I think so. Yes, we did. Very good. Now, did we set? Yeah, we did. Okay. And what about our nobles? Okay, well, they don't have any mandates right now, and everybody's taken care of. That's very good. We do have some clothes that need to get dumped, lest we toil in FPS hell, which we probably will end up toiling there anyways, because it's kind of the destiny of all Dwarf Fortress games, unless you just really, really have your fortress very well streamlined in terms of efficiency. Which, this one is not super efficient, I'm just going to be honest. There's a lot of tweaks that could be potentially made to it in terms of stockpile management. Because that's where a lot of your FPS strain comes from when you get a lot of dwarves, is from pathing back and forth. And like dwarves basically, instead of like taking a seed to the stockpile and putting it in the barrel, what they'll do is they will go get the barrel out of the stockpile and then take the barrel to where the seed is, put the seed in the barrel, and then they'll take the whole barrel back to the stockpile, which is really inefficient and stupid. And you can avoid things like that by clever use of stockpiles, but I didn't do that. So, because I didn't really want to get into that, because it's a little bit more of an advanced strategy. Plus, I'm not honestly that great at it. It takes some work. So I intended this kind of to be more of a series for somebody who was very interested in Dwarf Fortress, but just didn't know where to start. So I can see from our stockpile here that we are kind of getting a little full on our food stockpile. So we're going to need to immediately get that rectified, because otherwise that stuff's going to rot. So let's go ahead and, you know, I just don't know if that's necessary, but why not? We'll go ahead and go out there, and what'll happen is we will turn all of that space into a food stockpile. Now the question is, do I want to floor it? Because it's all sand? I don't know that I really care that much. Because it's going to be covered up with the stockpile anyways, so we're not even going to see the moss. I don't think. We'll be like just hanging out one day, and then all of a sudden there'll be a tree in the middle of it. So you can see we've got a ton of idlers. That's a bummer. Well, kind of a bummer. I mean, it's cool because it means that we have a lot of manpower that we can work with. So, which we're going to get them pretty busy. Alright, so there's our food stockpile. Now we're going to have to tweak the settings on it because we only want food in there. Our drink stockpile is fine at the moment. Now, I say at the moment because we might be having to change that pretty soon. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to forbid drinks and forbid seeds. We don't want seeds up here. Okay. Yeah, we might actually have to enlarge our drink stockpile too and put it up here. Although I think we have, what is this? Was this a barrel? Yeah, this was for barrels, I think. And there are like none in here. Do we not? I know we have a repeat job for barrels. What's going on, Carpenter Man? We don't? Huh. Maybe we were relying on the rock pots. right? Well, let's go back down there and let's just see what we have set up here. Yep, large pot. So that's what this was for. Let's go ahead and tell it that it's okay to have barrels there too. Because basically it's kind of potato-potato. They're both used for food storage. Normally I'd be a little bit more picky about the rock pots, because normally trees are a bit more rare. But man, we have so many trees, it's just ridiculous. I mean, we are heavily forested. We're not going to run out of any kind of wood anytime soon. Okay, so let's see. We've got, right now we're smelting galena. We want to change that. And we want to go to smelting tetrahedrite on repeat. And then at our metalsmith's forge, let's take a look. I'm just curious. I want to see how many mining picks we have. And that will be under weapons. We've got some that are forbidden. We want to unforbid those. That's what that F means. If it's F, it's forbidden. And that one's set to be dumped. That must have come off the goblins. So we've got plenty of training axes for lumberjacking. It looks like we have 12, 17 picks, 18 picks. So we should never have a problem with getting stuff mined out in a jiff. Speaking of which, let's go back down here and see what's happening. Alright, so we've mined out this whole layer. You know what? Since we have so many picks just floating around, we're going to go a little ham on this. And we're just going to do something that I like to do when I'm strip mining a layer. Now, there are a lot of different strategies for people with how they mine this stuff out. Like, there's some seriously detailed strategies out there if you want to find them. And you can find them on the wiki if you just like search for like mining and then look for like exploratory mining. Like, people have devised all sorts of patterns where they're like, oh, if you just type this command into DF hack, it will mine out every third square in like this diagonal pattern, which reveals like the whole substrata. But you're just like, holy crap, that's intensive. So what I do is I just kind of like work around the edges like that, and then I just like hold down shift and hit down like twice to go down 20, and then just do like this because I'm a little lazy, and I'm still going to get a pretty good idea of what exists by doing this. So not a big deal. So we're going to do a cross like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do up like this. And we're just kind of making like a checkerboard almost here. I guess you'd call it, I don't know, tic-tac-toe board. You know, tic-tac-toe, I never liked tic-tac-toe. Because I realized very, very, very early on that it just wasn't really a game. Like if you lost it was all about who went first, and them not being a dumbass. You know, I learned that very, very early on. You know, if you weren't a dumbass, you went first, you were gonna win, and that made me not like tic-tac-toe. All right, so let's check out our jeweler, get him back in the loop. So we obviously have some more gems we need to cut. Black pyrope, blue garnet. That's all for that. Okay, and now what we're going to want to do is... let's see. Well, we're smelting tetrahedrite. So what we're going to want to do... You know, we're probably going to need to go ahead and get another smelter going. Because of the fact that we're going to be making this stuff into bronze, further processing it. It's really, really going to slow us down if we can't have two smelters going. Because if we're having to like smelt tetrahedrite, smelt cassiterite, then smelt it into bronze, it's going to take forever. So I'm going to set up another smelter, and I might even set up another forge so that we can crank out some stuff. I mean, we've got the people. I'm not worried about that. So, I mean, why not? Why shouldn't we do it? So we'll just make some workshops here. I mean, this space has been saying, use me, for like a really long time anyways. So let's just use it. No, not down that far. And then we are going to do like so. If you're wondering what those flashing C's are, what that is that's denoting something that we have constructed. If you remember, that's all flooring that we designated for construction. You know, when I first started playing, I was like, what is this? All this flashing gobbledygook, but that's what it is. You know, at some point we might need more storage space back here, so I guess we can go ahead. I guess we can do it. I suppose. Alright, so this is going to be too wide back here, up to here. Actually, up to here. And then we go up to here and over to here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a little exit hatch here and here and here and here. And then we'll go too wide up to here. And it should be lovely. We also need to go ahead and open this out down here. Alright. We'll do that. And we're also going to, on the same layer, we're going to go ahead and dig out our next barracks. Like so. Just go ahead and get it ready. You know, technically we could go ahead and we could just make the unit now, and we will designate them to wear metal armor, and then as it becomes available, they'll just snag it. So, something that I like to do just to kind of break up the boredom sometime with the game is, like with my third melee unit, normally by then I'm kind of got a pretty good handle on, you know, what's available to me. So what I'll do is I'll like make them some kind of a specialized unit, because it tickles my fancy basically to think about like this unit of like hard ass dwarves like running around with a certain kind of weapon. So that's what I might do. I might like, because I don't remember like what we set these guys up with. It might have just been like any their individual choice range, their individual choice melee. So like these guys will be like our, like, I like to imagine them like our SWAT team or something. We're gonna give them like a special kind of weapon or something, like battle axes, you know. Sometimes I let the name kind of guide me too, because the game will give you some interesting random names, like, you know, the axes of destruction. Well, they need to use some battle axes, and damn it, I didn't close DF hack again. I suck, guys. I really do. I do suck. Alright, so Caravan's still hanging around, dragging down my frames. Thanks, bro. We have a lot of furniture that is getting thrown about. This is a really odd looking door, but it's a door. So let's go down and see. Let's check on our bedrooms and see if they're all claimed. Okay, we haven't even made these bedrooms. Shame on us. Poor dwarves don't have anywhere to sleep. What in the world are we thinking, right? Well, you can already see there. If they don't have a bedroom, they will sack out anywhere they can find unoccupied space. So, but this will let dwarves actually claim the rooms. Must have just completely got sidetracked with this. That means, what about this layer? Surely we designated this layer. Yeah, we did. Okay. This layer should be 100% occupied. And it looks to be that way. Yeah. So we'll give it a little while, and then we'll check on that layer. Alright, so we can go ahead and we can probably go ahead and get our next militia set up, since we have so many idlers. But we're going to do that in the next episode, because this one's ran a little bit long with my apology at the beginning and just kind of getting things back rolling. So I really do appreciate you watching the videos, and if you got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. Imagine that. Or you can always shoot me an email. So Until next time, game on. That was very poetic lightning.